Hold on. Come on, this is-
I wonder sometimes what they're doing on other colonies.
Uh-huh.
Think they're watching the same serials, following the same tossball game?
Wrap Musk and clean it up. Guys, right here.
Please, will someone help me? My boy's in trouble.
yes. Come on. Okay.
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi? Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today? You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. She's in the warehouse. But I'll warn you, Grimm wore her patience thin a long time ago.
Or is he not paying you on account of how he tried to fix the thing his own self and busted it even worse, and then said you wasn't fixing it fast enough, so he's docking your wages again? Not that I got any prior experience with such.
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really. So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else.
I reckon she's got a little bit of a squish on this fella.
He's sort of the strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff, and some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell. I couldn't. What if he says no? Hey, maybe you could ask him for me. I mean, a no would still be bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask. Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about. Plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises. You think that's what I'm looking for? You're funny. Sorry, sometimes I get carried away.
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me. Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
but not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's, perhaps? Or Auntie Cleo herself? Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate. But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna. Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
Mr. Vicar, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think that means anything.
Yes, it's as though the good vicar has plucked the very words from my brain.
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
But will that help the people here, Mr. Sanjar? Keep them fed and safe?
That's precisely what I'm trying to do.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data entry. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended. With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
Nem szóltam.
Ugye a kis trónodon, de már lenyugtottad.
Most kéne időíteni, majd igen.
Hát, ha úgy marad. Ez van mi? Ennyi se jár.
Se jár, nyaraló munkás embernek.
Délután, vagy ha délután van, este bemenjünk akkor ma, vagy inkább halasszuk el holnapra, vagy hétvégig. Szombatra.
Én rád bízom, én most is szívesen bemegyek, de várhatunk is.
Nem jobb az hétvégig?
Nem tudom, lehet.
Akkor ez gondolom, ezt a választék, de...
Nem tudom, hogy...
In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. These days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons. Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. What can I do for you? I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff? Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you? Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes. I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws. Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2, but back then it was known as Terra 1. As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out. Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch as a lost cause, but there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Ms. Holcomb is our endlessly optimistic crew hand. It's good for the captain's morale.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms. No, they laughed in our faces and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else. Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages. I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently. Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Without the board, chaos would overtake the system. Working within the established order isn't a principle to snub one's nose at, Captain.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation. I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes, it'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
A necessary evil for the greater good of society.
That's exactly how the board describes it. Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way. He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts. Lawless anarchists, all of them. If anyone on Monarch deserves the reputation the board's pinned on us, it's them.
I will admit, I am keen to meet their leader.
Well, be careful what you wish for. Graham has a habit of ruining everything, and everyone around him. I'm trying to build something here. They only want to destroy things, and they risk ruining Monarch for all of us. It isn't just that they drain our people and resources. Every radical act they commit cements Halcyon's image of us all as destructive rebels, and pushes us further from the rest of the colony. He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few UDL gunships patrolling Monarch.
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame we haven't seen one around Monarch in a long while.
What can I do for you?
Someone's been killed! I think I'm gonna be sick. No! I just stepped in a dead man's blood. And I think one of the flies landed on my mouth. If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
Oh, sorry. Just spooked me, was all.
What a gruesome way to die.
Definitely please some increasingly bold villagers made for a team called Mostly Colonists. Szóval left jött az ball betting. Ez az ennyi. The rugged outfits, all of the same cut and color, were stuffed into this suitcase.
You don't look like Sublight. Must be freelance. Whatever you do, don't mention Tossball to Isaac. You'll never hear the end of it. You know, I haven't seen him in a while.
You startled me. Don't sneak up on a person like that, huh?
What
You again! You've really got to stop doing that!
Okay.
As you were.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit. Most people don't. Besides, this place is enough to try anyone's nerves. Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rats spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation. And I was a fool for staying. That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain.
You got it. I got all the ingredients. Should only take about an hour in the oven. There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
My belly's gurgling just to smell it, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much.
A pleasure to help such a charming young lady.
Oh, gosh. My tum's rumbling just smelling that casserole. That Chief Junlei sure seems swell, huh?
I see you stuck around. Sanjar, of course. He had all these glorious ideas about how he'd run Monarch. Rest periods between every work shift. No shift more than 10 hours long. It all sounds wonderful, until you realize there's only a few centimeters of repurposed steel between you and the deadliest creatures in the galaxy. I could do with a few kilometers of cold vacuum, but that spaceship is flown. Only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly get ships on a regular basis, yours notwithstanding. And even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot, or dissolved into green goop, what then? Nothing, that's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call good standing with the board. So even if I could get out of here, no one's gonna hire me. Was there something else? Or did you just want to mock me? Lucky you.
Watch your step if you venture outside the walls.
Got any news from the rest of Halcyon? Watch your step if you venture outside the walls. We don't get many outsiders.
You don't look like Sublight. Must be freelance.
Mi van a tukám?
Tudom, hogy van valami rossz.
Csak kell az a kávé. Igen, kell az a kávé. Szedd le ide.
You don't look like Sublight. Must be freelance.
We don't get many outsiders.
Watch your step if you venture outside the walls.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest Tossball games. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial H Mammoths. Aren't they just? When I get to worrying about the marauders outside, the raptidons chewing at the walls, I just turn my transceiver up to drown it all out. Most of the time it's static on account of the frequency being called
Igen, ha
up,
most
but
szúnyogálnak, akkor
sometimes
este pont jó lennék.
So, what can I do for you?
Azt egyébként. Már kétszer nem megyünk. Egy bemenetelünk van.
Azt vagy.
Ennyi van benne. Hétfőn esetleg ráveszik magunkat, de már elég necces, hogy vasárnap. De akkor szombaton úgy készülünk, hogy akkor bemegyünk. És akkor esetleg az ebédet is úgy hogy gondoltam, hogy akkor nem ebédelünk, hanem akkor majd bent fogunk egy ilyen ebédvacsorát csinálni. Szerintem az nem jó. És annyira nem különösebb olyan, hogy Chili-re mondjál, nem? Hogy ahogy hétvégére csinálunk, ha csinálunk.
Függ, mennyi marad meg a
És a desszertet csinálod akkor bemennénk mondjuk olyan 3-kor indulunk itthonról, 3 körül, 2-kor, fél 4-re a legkésőbb beérünk tökéletes, és akkor már 3-kor nyitnak a dolgok, tudod?
Igen.
Ja, és amit én láttam ott a legelső dolog, az 3-kor nyitnak, 4-kor gondoltam, ilyesmi. Végignézzük, akkor már sötétedni is fog szépen lassan, visszajövünk olyan 5 körül, 6 körül, amikor végigtük.
Hát, ja.
Az úgy jó, ha szombatra betervezzük?
Akkor legyen szombat, jó van.
Jó neked?
Jó.
Én most is csak akkor már hétvégén úgysem megyünk be.
Mindegy, igazából csak, hogy minek toljuk, de várhatunk hétvégéig.
Azért, mert egy bemenetel van bennünk, én jól sejtem. Akkor azt a legoptimálisabb szombaton lenni, nem?
Jó, akkor legyen szombat.
De ha ellene vagy bemehetünk most is igaziból, annyira nem nagy különbség. Most egy nem nagy különbség.
Hát, gondolom, nem? Gondolom. Csak tudom azt, hogy teszem be, hogy akkor vasárnap meg fát veszünk, vagy mikor időzítsük azt? Na úgy csak akarjuk, hogy szombaton megyünk, akkor úgy csak akarunk akkor fát is venni. Visszafele? Jó.
Úgy értem, hogy akkor 6 előtt, még itt lesznek, akkor megveszünk a fát is. Vagy akkor vasárnap reggel lemegyünk.
Jó.
Vagy pénteken. Még rá. Pénteken egyébként lehet, hogy péntek is jó.
Mégis a gázok úgy csinálják, hogy akkor egyedül megyek el úsomba, és akkor visszaértünk, akkor ketten lemegyünk a fáért.
Jó, azt is lehet. Akkor 500. Csak 500 le a busztól.
Hát igen, majd akkor kitaláljuk, hogy mit vegyek, hogy hétvégére kell csinálni levest, akkor nem csak nagy leves, mondjuk piszokleves például, ha ez elfogy. Meg mit tudom én, akkor tejszínes csirkeragus. Se a chili elfogy, vagy már nem lesz jó. Jó, akkor jó, amilyen egyszerű pert csinálok, mert...
Hogy csirkét akarsz venni?
Igen. Vagy akkor megcsinálom a sertéslapockát.
És akkor inkább egyedül mész az Oceanbe?
Akkor elmegyek egyedül, aha.
Jó. Nem veszel most akkor 6 különlegességet? Esetleg egy rusztit leveszel, de annyi, nem?
Hát akkor esetleg egy rusztit. Ha veszek halkülönlegességet, akkor azt már karácsony után. Már úgyis csak. 20.
Ha azt, hogy azt tudod elfogyt, akkor még egyet azért.
Még attól függ, hogy hogyan lesz. Jövő héten hogyan lesznek a boltok. 25-én vagy 26-án már lesz?
24-én is vannak déli körülbelül boltok. 25-e az nagy valószínűséggel zárva lesz, mert szerintem az...
Akkor ilyenkor is lesz, meg anya is én is hozzak kaját. 26-án meg már akkor el lehet már majd gondolom menni. Aha.
Akkor nekem majd még nem vagyok biztos, hogy szerintem az is szabad minősül. Munkaszüneti napnak inkább az mert karácsony másnapja. Ugye már 24-e az este, 25-e a karácsonynap, 26-a a karácsony másnap.
Igen, 26 másnapja.
De 23-a az nem ünnepnap, az pont úgy lesz. Hát, ha menni is kellene, akkor már készülni kell a szilveszteri dolgokra. Majd akkor 26-án még összegézettünk már.
A 23-án és de legközelebb 27-én tudunk menni vásárolni. Kb. Ja. Jó, tudom, hogy bízítani a dolgokat. Oh.
Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth.
A szombatot megjelöljük, a szombat délután bemegyünk.
Igen.
Úgy ebédelünk, akkor ebédelünk is, hogy ne túl erősek. És esetleg megcsinálod a desszertet még szombaton, és akkor este visszajövünk, akkor lesz. Vagy abban valószínűleg nem, mert akkor meg kötött találkozunk. De akkor inkább nem csinálsz.
Nem csak desszert, ha csinálok desszertet, akkor azt nem szombaton csinálom, hanem akkor vasárnap. Vasárnap csinálok csak desszertet.
Értelme, hogy igen, nem egyáltalán nem visszajössz, biztos, hogy költös kalácsoszol.
De hogyha meg azt tervezik, hogy jobban eszik, mert hogy ilyen ebéd-vacsora, akkor csak egy leves kéne enni, hogy akkor lájtosan enni.
Most csináltad lesz, azt a nem töltöttük a fejet.
Akkor szombaton nem is csinálok egy semmi ebédet. Akkor csak vasárnap csinálok esetleg.
Akarunk például pitét csinálni, vagy akkor pitét akkor csinálunk, azt nem?
Azért vettem almát, nem muszáj hétvégére csinálni pitét. Lehet, hogy akkor, ha lesz még a muffinból, akkor eszük azt. A almát azért vettem, hogy akkor lehessen pitét csinálni.
Ja, azt a aliptől arra vetted?
Arra vettem, hogy vagy ha most nem most, ha nem most hétvégén, akkor jövő héten dolgozgatok el vele.
Azt ki kell magozni, meg kell pucolni, hámozni, és akkor le kell reszelni. Ezt talán nem kell, mert meg tudjuk talán a kódusban, ha felmagosulok, akkor már leviszik.
Lehet, hogy kockázni is elég. Attól függ. Pudingot kell hozzávenni egy adagot.
Igen. Akkor a...
Tésztát kell hozzá.
Ahogy gondoltuk, ez a tésztát ilyen karácsonyi tésztára csináljuk. Tehát a étcsokit akkor még majd venni kell. Mert holnap akkor elmegyünk, veszünk az Oceanbe, az meg a Lidlibe étkezési étcsokit.
Ha pitit csinálok, akkor ahhoz kakaópor jobb a tésztához. Hogy attól függ, hogyha tésztába teszem, hogy tészta legyen kakaós, vagy a belseje legyen csoki töltelék. Akkor a tészta lesz, akkor a tésztával meg jobb a port használ, akkor az meg nem az étcsokit használom, csak kakaóport.
Jó.
Vagy akkor csinálok muffint, és akkor nem almás.
De már megvetett hozzá az almát. Már úgy félig meddig el van döntve, nem?
Most csinálhatom akkor a csokis narancsos muffint, utána meg jövő héten, amikor megcsinálom a pitét. Yes.
Nem baj, ez így jó, ez ilyen. Jó van, akkor ez a terv.
Jó. Szombaton nem csinálok kaját, akkor nem is kell hozzá vásárolni.
Mindeken a fát vesszük, vagy ha itt már nincsen jó fa, jó kérdezek, igen. Ha itt nem találunk már jó fát, akkor megnézzük hol a legközelebbi faárus még, és akkor szépen elkezdünk kiállni. De nem hiszem, hogy ez nagyon találnánk fát, de...
Mivel nekünk egy kicsi fa kell, ezért csak lesz.
Én nem úgy viszont adjunk magunk egy extra pár napot, hogy nagyon gáznak, hogy még azért tudunk fa után szolgálni a hétvégén.
Hétvégén, vagy legkésőbb hétfőn, akkor hazahozni az egyik áruháznak a parkolójából.
Akkor egy hosszú is kellemetlen tudunk bejárni, de nem lesz akkor a gond, mert fáj, megyünk, az alul is világos.
Mit mondják akkor? Nem akarjuk a Tesco-ig vagy Oceanig elmenni a fájért, de ha muszáj, akkor...
Semmi a Tesco szerintem teljesen mindegy lesz a napról. Ott lesznek a nagy fárosok nyilván, de ugye már nem lesz. Ha nem tudom hányan használnak még rendes fát még. Tehát sokan már csak megveszik azt a műanyagot egyszer, kifizetik rá azt a műfára az összeget, és talán akkor csak azt visszahozza egy 2-3-4 karácsonyat az árát.
De ahány fárus van itt, azért szerintem elég sokan vesznek még fát.
Az igazi, és jó a mennyire népszerű ez a fázás. Én szeretem a fát, mert jó gépkezik a fát. Valóság már igen, ha veszünk egy jó minőségű műfát, mint valami így van még előre, nyáron a és veszünk ezt a fenyősprét előtte, lefújod, úgy is néz ki, hogy olyan szabad is van.
De akkor meg mozolyog, hogy akkor igazából a környezeten nem segítettem, ha ugyanúgy fújom rá a sprét.
Lakásban lesz egy.
Meg utána akkor azt tárolni kell, hogy akkor azt hova teszem. Nem olyan, mint hogy megveszik a fát, akkor azt utána január első hetén kidobom, az kész.
Ha végeztél a fával, akkor úgy levisztük, és akkor kész. Megszűnt egy évre, ha gondod a fával. Azzal itt lesz, és akkor el kell pakolni.
Akkor azt nem tudom, hogy azt össze lehet-e csukni, nyomni, mit tudom én.
Hát azért kell megnézni, hogy mondjuk valami tetszik, akkor megvehetünk egy és akkor az akkor egy ilyen 50-60 ezer lesz.
Azt már nem most van, akkor az jövő novemberben esetleg.
Hát azért azt úgy kell venni, hogy akkor úgy készül. Azért lesz egy ár azért. Ez drágább. Első beruházásra drága, de ha belegondolsz, utána 20 évig azt fogod használni, 30 évig visszahozza az árát. Őket. Tőlem a mai álmok.
Hát, lehet.
Right. So the thing with Isaac is he didn't know where to stop. He'd get stuck on something, and he just couldn't let it go. Sometimes he'd drink Purpleberry Punch by the liter. Other times he'd keep betting on a losing team. Started owing the wrong people money. I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
Velma seen out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean, more than usual.
Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way.
Wouldn't mind smelling like Saltuna if you could sell more.
You're probably looking for Velma. Watch out. She's in a mood. Wouldn't mind smelling like Saltuna if you could sell it.
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and pack boxes herself if she's in such a hurry. Sorry. Seems I got my cables crossed. Thought you were another shakedown tough from Fallbrook. Hope you can forgive my temper. This job has been running me ragged lately. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now my chief pescatological health manager is missing. Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get too many tumors. He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of working hours. Comes with living in a free colony, I guess. I can't keep working double shifts either. Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, maybe you could check up on him. He lives in the apartments. Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing those extra jugs he's been taking from supply. Something else on your mind? This again? I swear, this is the last time I contract for any special requests. You can tell Grim his poster came in. You can also tell him I got a better offer for it. So now it's going to Nell. That about cover it? She runs the betting parlor across the way. Nice professional lady. She asked me about the poster once. Just once. Made a real generous offer, too. Damn right it is. No. I paid Sublight for it. So, it's mine. And when Nell pays me for it, it'll be hers. Grim may have asked for the poster, but it's not his until I take his money. It's staying locked up in my office until Nell shows with her money. Sure can. If you want to pay me more than Nell's offering. Sure. And once you finish helping me, then we can talk about the poster. Fine by me. Sublight boss out of Fallbrook. Handles most goods that come in or out of Stellar Bay. Has a mouth like a Ground Six spacer.
I don't... Sorry. For a second, I thought you were...
Got any news from the rest of Halcyon? What's that smell coming out of Celia's apartment?
Probably whatever she bought from that guy who sells animal parts.
You again! You've really got to stop doing that! Braxton. I've never even heard of a Braxton. Got nothing for you, sorry. Oh, in that case, he told me he was delivering to this house in the ruins south of town. Whole family had fallen sick and he had some meds on hand. So maybe look for him there?
Poor fella. Hope he's okay. We should hurry, Captain. Hey, Mr. Vicar. Do you ever get a little bit homesick for Edgewater? For that ocean stink?
No, I do not.
You're supposed to say yes and go on to explain why. I just want to have a conversation.
Of course you do.
Whew. Smells like those old Sundays when we'd unload salt tuna shipments at the cannery.
The trick is not to breathe through your nose.
Great! Here we go! Here I go! Whew. Smells like those old Sundays when we'd unload salt tuna shipments at the cannery.
The trick is not to breathe through your nose.
Here we go! Here I go!
Here's a little trick I learned in prison.
Ömlik ki. Volt, akkor mellette kell menni.
Mi van, Bakókám?
Semmi.
Előbb harcoltál, elhívjuk egy pillanatra vissza, hogy már pont így. Old mapot nézed. Meghaltál!
Meg.
Hold on to your hats, children. This ride is about to get ugly.
You reckon the smell ever goes away? Maybe the wind off the sea helps.
Gondoltam.
Nem fogunk találkozni, mert nem vagy ebből mindestig forbasszak ki.
Na, tessék volna ki kell, nem fennfekszünk, most kaptak kávét. Akkor én is megyek alszok.
Ne, miért?
Ha telefekszel, akkor én is megyek aludni.
Annyi tavaly?
Nem, de akkor megyek. Nem akkor, hogy nem megyek, akkor te se akar.
Katalin Toretto.
Igen.
Understood. I'll keep my head down.
Azt. Magyarázza. Így vagy.
I smite you in the name of the law.
Jobb, mint több is egy...
A visitor? What an unexpected surprise! Please, come in. Come in.
I, for one, welcome a reprieve from our travels. That is, if you'll have us, kind sir.
That's the spirit. Now come in. Make yourselves comfortable. I'm afraid we don't get many visitors out here. The Raptidons and Marauders scare off all but the boldest. And if you've braved them, you must be exhausted. Why don't you stay for dinner? I'm sure I would remember something like that. Now, quit fretting yourself about that. Make yourself at home. Dinner's almost ready. You must be famished. So are we, my friend, but one can't rush a fine meal. Is it sticking again? I'm afraid nothing out here works the way it used to. There's a bit of a trick to jimmying it open. I'll see to it once we've finished dinner. I do appreciate your patience. I'd hate to serve company with anything but the best, though.
Oh, hello there. You come for dinner? Sorry, I'm not real good with, names. It just gets hard to remember things. I recall moments, feelings, but the details slip.
I felt like that after my dad passed. Walked around in a haze for weeks. I'm sorry you're feeling that way, too.
Other times, it's like there's fog. Sorry, have we talked about this before? That's nice of you. I usually feel better after I eat. Mama said dinner's almost ready, huh?
What?
What a pleasant surprise. And just when I was beginning to fear we'd seen the last of good company for a spell. Yet the Eternal provides, does it not?
Only if you give yourself over to the plan, Martha. May I call you Martha?
By all means, just make yourself comfortable. Company is always a reason for cheer. The Eternal does not desire that we huddle and hide, crowded in by walls. We all share the spark of the divine, and we were made to spread it across the stars. Out here, we are free. And even apart from society, the universe provides for us, as your being here proves. That they do. Though it's up to us to make the most of those opportunities, wouldn't you say? Look at me, prattling on as if this gravy is going to cook itself. Why don't you run along until we are ready for dinner?
Még mindig ott vagy.
Nézlek. Olyan jó este.
Oh, hi there. Did you come to bring us more of those rocket candies?
You know, the ones that come in a bottle with a rocket ship on the front. They don't taste very good, but they make me feel so nice. Hungry, too. That's too bad. There was this other man who used to bring them. Not anymore, though. Mama and Papa said he came from the city. When we got sick one time, he brought those candies to make us well again. And they worked. Now we feel better than ever. Mama says they're a gift from the Eternal. I don't know. I'm not really supposed to talk to strangers. He said they were making us sick. Mom and Papa got real mad at him for that. They went to have a talk with him. Afterwards, they said he wasn't coming back again. Okay. Maybe I'll see you at dinner.
Perhaps we should skip dinner. My stomach has been a tad unsettled of late. I thought I'd seen the worst of humanity before.
I'm gonna be sick.
Értem. Ez a család egy fura család. Felszeletelték Blackstone-t, és ezek szerint őt fogják felszolgálni, mint vacsora.
Na, jó, hogy fájt hozzá, mondtam.
Azt hiszem, mi itt megyünk, itt megtaláltam, amit kerestem. Creepy volt ez a család, de ez a felfedezés sem segített sokat. Sőt, csak beigazolta, hogy innen minden gyorsabban el kell tűnni.
I wonder what secrets these ruins contain.
I wonder who used to live here. Do you suppose anyone remembers?
Here they come! I've had quite enough of you! Fine hit, Captain!
Smells like those old Sundays when we'd unload salt tuna shipments at the cannery.
The trick...
I had a question about your plan.
Szomjas vagyok, elismerem.
Of
Sőt,
course.
eléggé.
The cosmos is generated and directed by the universal equation, also known as the Grand Plan. By contemplating the teleological order of things, one can achieve verity. Oh, right. You had a question?
Never mind. That about it.
Tudom, hogy... De akkor csak egy decit. Spórolni kell a folyadékkal, nem csak úgy. Vagy esetleg még többet is ad. Értem, ha nem akarok megdögleni, akkor magamra vagyok utalva.
Smells like raft in here. Oh, it does work.
Figyeli!
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but I'm up to my elbows in salt tuna guts.
Gosh, this old girl's in a rough way. Even old Bess in Edgewater was in better shape than this.
Hey, you want to try running a cannery with obsolete machinery? You be my guest.
Sorry, ma'am. I wasn't trying to be rude. It's just your flanging apparatus isn't making a strong flange, so your sealer isn't sealing right, and...
Oh. I see what you're saying. Huh. I'll have to try that. Anyway, what do you folks need? That he's got his load on and I'm stuck covering his shift? That's... Wow. I sure feel like an ass now. Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on Catherine herself. Still, it's good to know what happened to him. And that I ought to start looking for a replacement. Something else on your mind? Sure can. If you want to pay me more than Nell's offering. Fair enough. The damn thing's been a headache anyway. Take the poster then. And if I never hear another word about it, it'll be too soon. Stealing's such a nasty word. Let's call it skimming. And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the stereobiotics we use for the fish would get used a little faster on Braxton's shifts. We're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows how to get the salt tuna, fat and mostly tumor-free. Or new, I guess. Caleb Herrick runs the autoloader operators. He thinks I don't pay them enough for flipping switches and turning dials.
So the job's easy, but you're not doing it? Something smells here. I mean, everything smells in here, but something's fishy. Wait.
He and his whole crew walked out. Say they won't come back unless I pay them more. You mind slapping him around a little while you're at it? I'm joking. Mostly. Unless you can do it without hurting his job performance. If you can find a way to get him back to work, I'll make it worth your while. Check the yacht club. He's usually there. Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job again, I've got nothing to say. I don't have the bits for it, plain and simple. Besides, if I make an exception for him, I gotta do the same for everyone.
She's principled, in at least this area. I will begrudgingly give her that.
Thank you. I think. If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back to it. I'm about ready to hire sublight contractors at this rate. For running me ragged while he takes an extended leave at the bar? Not on your life. Maybe so, but I bet you Caleb runs out of bits first. Then he'll have to come back. He says he's got a stash to tide his crew over. Could be he's all talk, but if the money's real, I bet you he keeps it at home. Near the diner.
You'd steal from your own people? That's low, ma'am.
That's business. Someone's got to keep the lights on. Fine by me.
Mi fagyják nekem. Tudod a pénzenergiát?
Szívom.
Ne, az biztos a kicsit. Csak a tókám.
Én nyújtózkodok. Ennyi.
Azért ne kell állítani mindent?
Igen. Gondolkodtam, hogy szerintem játékot tart.
Na hát. Mire váltasz?